Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra, and today I just kind of want to take a step back and explain why TruvoFit actually exists. I'm skipping the polished pitch today. Not the version where everything made perfect sense and I just woke up with a brilliant idea and built it in a weekend. I really want to share the real version with you.
I appreciate that, Alexandra, because honestly, the polished versions are rarely the ones worth listening to anyway.
Exactly. Because the real version starts with something I think a lot of us have been quietly struggling with. So, chapter 1 of this story is the exhaustion. A few years ago, I was doing what so many women do. I was tracking my food, I was weighing myself every single morning, just trying to be consistent, using these apps that basically told me whether I was good or bad based on a number. And I was exhausted. Not physically exhausted, but emotionally exhausted. Because every single morning started the exact same way. Step on the scale, look at the number, decide how I felt about myself for the rest of the day. If it was a good number, well, it was a good day. But if it was a bad number, I felt like I had already failed before breakfast.
I know that feeling exactly. It's just that sinking feeling in your chest before you even had your coffee.
Yes, which brings me to part 2, the broken tools. Because here's the thing that nobody was telling me back then. The apps I was using were built around this one punishing idea. If you just track hard enough, restrict enough, log every single crumb, eventually you'll get it right. But I kept getting it wrong. And it wasn't because I wasn't trying. It was because the tools themselves were structurally built to induce guilt. Just look at how they work. It's literally the design of failure. Missed a day? Boom, your streak is broken. Start over. Ate something unplanned? Bright red number. Instant guilt. The scale went up? No explanation at all, just a number moving the wrong way. There was zero context. Just data, and this heavy, silent implication that if the data looked bad, I was the problem. The tools were designed to make me feel like I was failing. And that leads to section 3, the specific morning. It all really came to a head for me on that exact morning. I had done everything right. I'd eaten well for 2 solid weeks. I had walked every day. I slept reasonably well. I actually felt really good about myself stepping onto the scale, fully expecting a win. And the scale went up, not a little bit, a full kilogram. I just sat there staring at it thinking, what is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? I opened my app and it just showed me the number going up. No explanation, nothing. So I did what most women do. I assumed I had failed. I had a bad day, which turned into a bad week, and then I just stopped tracking altogether. Alexandra, how many women do you think have done exactly that, just completely given up after a morning like that?
Almost all of them. I really believe that. Almost all of us have been there.
But looking back, I reached part 4, the truth about the scale. There was this profound turning point for me, a scientific reality that I simply didn't know on that defeating morning, and understanding why context matters, it changes absolutely everything. Here's what I know now, that kilogram, it was water. It was almost certainly a combination of a slightly salty dinner the night before, sleeping maybe a little worse than usual, and completely normal hormonal fluctuation. It had absolutely nothing to do with fat, and it had absolutely nothing to do with failure. That is such a huge relief to hear. It really is an immense relief, because the math of it exposes the absurdity of all that guilt. To gain 1 kilogram of actual body fat, I would have needed to eat 7,700 calories above what my body needed in a single day. That is practically impossible. That is physically not what happened, but nobody told me that. Not the app, not the scale. The app could have told me that, it just didn't. They really just leave you in the dark. It's such a profound disservice letting you carry that frustration entirely on your own. Exactly. And that realization brought me to section 5. You are not broken. I just started asking all these questions. Why don't these tools explain anything? Why are they so inherently punitive? I mean, why does every weight loss app treat a 46-year-old woman the exact same way it treats a 22-year-old athlete? Why is the default setting always guilt and red numbers and punishment? Smart, capable, motivated women are out here continuously feeling like they are the ones who are broken. If you're listening to this, I really need you to hear me. You are not broken. The tools were broken. Which is why section 6 is progress without pressure. I built TruvoFit as an antidote to that exhaustion. Not because I had everything figured out. Honestly, quite the opposite. I built it because I, and so many women exactly like me, desperately needed it. TruvoFit doesn't have streaks, because streaks punish the days when life simply happens. We show your weekly average, not your daily number, because one morning means almost nothing. The trend over time means everything. We explain what's happening, giving you actual context instead of just throwing raw data at you. So, looking at this, it's really less about tracking and a lot more about understanding. Exactly. Understanding is worth infinitely more than tracking. The foundation of TruvoFit is honest information, real understanding, and frankly, a little more kindness than most tools have ever offered. If you've tried before and it didn't work, I want to reassure you, it wasn't a personal failure. You were missing context. You were using tools lacking compassion, designed for someone else entirely. The whole point of explaining this to you today is to show you that progress doesn't have to feel like pressure. If any of what we just talked about sounds familiar, the exhaustion, the scale anxiety, the endless starting over, you are exactly who this was built for. Welcome. TruvoFit is a free tool, and you can find it at truvo.fit. I really hope you'll join us. Because I have to ask, if you wouldn't let a friend speak to you the way your current app does, why are you still letting your phone do it?